5 drop-in passes that they currently have, that's fine. And Cumberland doesn't have any free drop-in passes currently, so we could, come up with a number that we would like. But yeah, it can be sort of whatever the municipalities are comfortable with. It's really just focusing on lowering that barrier for access with just having that one pass. Oh, sorry, actually, Director Arbor was ahead of you.
I just beat her to it. No, I'm just wondering, so what would be, that sounds good to me, but what would be the next steps from, from staff or yourself for this one?
Do you want to comment, Jennifer?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Thank you. Through the chair. Next step, staff are working together on the leadership table with the various membering municipalities, and a couple of things that we need to really look at and get around are, so our examples are the privacy of the information of those that apply for any application or pass or program with us. And the other sort of bigger, I think, area that could be of concern, it could or could not be of concern is capacity. The question is, well, if we open up the doors and we do a one-stop shop all access pass, how does that affect the capacity of the various municipalities? So speaking from the pool, I mean, it's obvious we have probably the biggest location, the one that can take the most amount of people in, and our capacities will be 398, 496, 298, depending on if you're an ice arena, sports center pool, or aquatic center. So the question is, for the town of Comox, the city of Courtenay, the village of Cumberland, how would they be able to handle capacity? Well, currently each municipality outside of Cumberland does have a leisure access or a play program, and they already provide X amount of free drop-ins. So if it is Comox 5, the city of Courtenay 25, the regional district 52, Cumberland comes up with the number that works well for them. And we keep those numbers, and we just look, first of all, for the way to get the people in the door with this one pass, as Chair Cutler was saying. So whether it's a plastic card or whether it's a booklet, it's just a one-stop shop all. In my booklet, I have my 5 drop-ins to Comox, my X amount of drop-ins for Cumberland, my 52 for the CVRD, and my 25 for the city of Courtenay. And I can go, and I don't have to constantly reapply with each location that I go to. And we start with keeping our numbers as is, but we're not stopping anybody from being able to come. There isn't that, okay, let's have you reapply. Oh, it's been a year, your pass has expired, reapply. Well, I applied it at the city of Courtenay, and now here I am in the CVRD, and I have to reapply. And that can be a really difficult thing for many people. The comfort's not there, the concern. There are so many sort of heartfelt reasons why, people having to constantly come and provide paperwork and documentation and proof that they're in this situation, so hard. So if we can remove that barrier so that people feel good about coming into the facility and start off with just merging our piece of paper that's our pass.
Director Khimera, do you still have a question?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for that report, Jennifer. So I'm just wondering if you do have an idea, if there was this one pass for the entire valley, what approximately the numbers you would see who would apply for that kind of pass? And is there any kind of connection with that pass and the registration system that we've kind of been hearing some issues about? Is there a connection between the pass?
So through the chair, in respects to numbers that would use the passes, I would like staff to get back to you on that. I wouldn't want to sort of hazard a number out there now. And in respects to for the pass and for using our registration program, some facilities are in the same registration program and some are not. So we would have to look at how we can make that somehow make that work. And it might be as simple as just starting off with wherever your home base is. If you're a Village of Cumberland member, that's where you do all your paperwork to get access to the booklet. Mm-hmm. And then it's a booklet that you come to the pool and you're going to get a stamp. It might be just as simple as that to start with until we can figure out how to make it
So
you know.
go like old school stamp way first, and then potentially move to something that can be swiped or
Yes.
read by a reader.
That would sort of be the two extremes of being very old school until we can get there. There may be, there may be other ways to, maybe it's a generic card that is made somewhere for us, maybe a Staples, through Staples or something, and it's gonna, you're gonna tick off as you, or sign off as you use it, or.
Okay, great, thank you.
And Director Frisch?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So it sounds like quite a few unanswered questions, but you guys are working through this, and it sounds like you'll come back to us when you have some more answers and some better idea of how to move forward. It sounds really great.
Yeah, and I think the idea is that it is a pilot, so we
Yeah.
do, we'll have to work out some of these things that we don't know yet, and we'll find out along the way, so.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks so much.
So Director Grant?
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to note that in discussions with our rec center, our gym is full now. We're at capacity. So when we start adding more, it can become a problem. And so however this works, we're going to have a problem with adding more people into that. So I don't know how we'll overcome that, but I'm sure great minds will figure it out. But there we are. We're already there, right?
So, through the chair, if I may, that's, I think, where staff want to start with the original, what each municipality has set up for their numbers. So if Comox has 5 free drop-ins, we're not looking to increase that at this time. We want to start with just the very basics of getting the paperwork part sorted out and a lot more simpler, so that the people, it can be very difficult for people to come and provide this information or this proof of where their income is at, and just to remove that barrier to start with. So you're not necessarily increasing the numbers in your facilities through the program at this time, but definitely minds will have to be put together for moving forwards, if this pilot program becomes a success, and then what are the next steps?
And Director Hamir, you have another question?
Yeah, sorry, one more question that came to mind. So I'm assuming you already have a pool of people that have currently been applying for the low-income passes
Yes.
already. Beyond that, do staff think that there could be an opportunity to grow that number, or like partner with, for example, Family Services or WACHE to reach more low-income people, or do you want to keep it initially with that group first?
Through the chair, I think just anybody that qualifies,
Yeah.
we would like to see come through the door. How many are we all reaching right now? Something I'd like to take a look to see, where we're at. I do know for the CVRD, from the various agencies that we do work together with,
Yeah.
we're probably reaching about 70% that are actually coming in and using the facility.
Great.
For us, in some areas, there'll be other things as well, like transit will be a bit of a barrier, especially for using the sports center facility. And I'm not completely familiar with how the transit is for Cumberland, and but certainly there'll be some of those barriers that will stop people as well.
That's true. Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no more questions, we'll call on receipt. And anybody opposed? No? Carried. And we're moving on to reports, the Comox Valley Sports Center Commission Recreation Services update. Okay, and I'll pass it back to Jennifer.
Thank you. So through the chair, to the committee, thank you. Staff are here today to provide the Sports Commission with a bit of an update in the Recreation Services Function 645. We originally had 4 items and areas that I would like to update everyone on today, but I think if everybody is comfortable, we may only have 3 items. The first item would have been a little bit further on the low-income all-access recreation pilot program. Just want to say a couple things. This initiative does incorporate 2 of the strategic priorities, accessibilities and partnerships. So that's very important to us, to ensure access to recreation services for all citizens, regardless of the income level. And again, staff are currently working with our partnering agencies to discuss next steps and some of the hurdles that we're working on, and the concern of privacy for information, capacity, and what does this look like, and how can we ensure no issues out of this. And again, it would be sort of considered maybe a one-stop shop pass, where Comox may provide 5, CVRD may provide 52, City of Courtenay may provide 25, and Cumberland may provide, and I'm just going to throw a number out there, 20. But you've got this one pass, and you can utilize this amount, and you're not constantly having to go from municipality to municipality to constantly reapply to make you feel more welcome coming to use the facilities. So our next staff meeting with our partnering municipalities, we anticipate to be in November, and following that, we're hopeful to be able to provide a further update to the Sports Commission. I think December's probably a busy month, but perhaps we could start that in January, along with our budget talks. Our next item we'd like to talk a little bit about is the Active Comox Valley. So again, this initiative incorporates 3 of our strategic priorities. Accessibility. So we have some non-cost activities such as play boxes out at the beaches. We have the opportunity, the ability to, sign out ping pong paddles, and I'm a little not up to date on the Wii game. And then we also have things such as the Terry Fox that we partner on, the Walk the Docks. Again, so those are all things that are cost-free. And then we have partnerships, sharing resources with our members' municipalities. So with the Active Comox Valley, we have a leadership table that works together. We also have the community, there's a community leadership table that works together. And then we have the volunteer engagement portion where members of the community, provide their time. So it sort of hits 3 of our strategic priorities. So the Active Comox Valley itself as a topic in 2005 became a CVRD initiative and was funded through the 600 Recreation Grants function. In 2010, this initiative received some further funding through a legacy grant. This initiative has been supported with resources from our membering municipalities via staff and the citizens of the various areas. This was a contracted position from 2005 until 2016, at which point the roles and responsibilities were moved within the Recreation Department program job descriptions. So the program staff now are the main drivers behind the Active Comox Valley. So over time, the Active Comox Valley has started to lose a little bit of steam. Today, we're here at a bit of a crossroads and would like to look into what direction to take the Active Comox Valley in the future. I think everybody has the same goal in mind, that we want to keep the Comox Valley active. It's just a matter of who or where will we take on the various activities and events that normally have been through Active Comox Valley. Is Active Comox Valley, the wording of Active Comox Valley, perhaps a bit of the past? In our discussions with Chair Kettler, we've realized that there's an opportunity out there potentially, maybe to look for a partnership, such as with Pacific Sport, which is looking to promote their play program within the Valley, which is physical literacy for adults and youth. Could this potentially be a match? So staff are currently reviewing where we're at with Active Comox Valley and where we could go with it. We want to make sure that the Comox Valley, is on board and involved and continues to remain active and healthy. So it's not something that we just want to take off the table, but we would like to see where or who or what is the correct match, or the most current way to go versus the Active Comox Valley.
Director Frisch, you have a question?
Yeah, it's about Active Comox Valley, because I'm not actually sure I understand what it is. I mean, I think I'm familiar with the box out at the beach. Apparently, if you can unlock it and borrow some stuff.
Yes.
But it sounds like there's some other initiatives, some programs that we're putting on. I don't know if this is the time to talk about it, but I'd like to understand that more. Is that something that'll come up for further discussion? Is that what you're saying?
Certainly, yes. Yeah. So just maybe a little bit more of a taste with Active Comox Valley. So the Active Comox Valley looks after things like events such as the Terry Fox Run, and all the municipalities provide support versus a municipality trying to have a Terry Fox Run here and another one here and one out in the D&D. we tried to make it a sharing event. So again, that one-stop shop. You come to one location, and there's the Terry Fox Run, and we hope to get 4,000 people to it versus each municipality getting 1,000 or 500. There's things such as the Bike to Work Week is another event through the Active Comox Valley. So Active Comox Valley Committee looks for 3 to 4 ways a year to get people out of their houses, out of their cars, and to participate. So that's sort of been the goal of the Active Comox Valley. And then there's sort of some year-round items, and then there's some seasonal items. So the seasonal items are the play boxes. I believe they go out late March, early April, out into the various locations. And then they're tucked away again in October, sort of when the beach time slows down. And then sort of through the winter time, we have things like walk the docks. You can take a walk with your doctor, with the local doctors, down along the boardwalk, just out the sea walk out by the Plain Airport. Oh, there's the Bike to Work Week. There's the Participation Day. It's just ways of looking to get people active, cost-effective ways, and community. So it's not just this rec center is doing this or this municipality is doing this. It's everyone together. And it's really driven through volunteering and a community. There's a community committee that works with the leadership table, and it's the community committee that should be sort of driving what the interest is of the community, because they're the ones that are out, with your friends and with your neighbors, and what kind of activities we would like to see that we can get the whole community involved in.
Great. Okay,
Thank
thanks
you.
very much.
We have a couple more questions. Director Arbour?
Yeah, you mentioned the Participation Day, but that's kind of, for me, almost the umbrella word for what I understand from this program, which was a really successful, obviously, federal effort a number of years ago. And one opportunity, the second word you use is the active part, and I think about the active transportation network that's going on around getting people out of their cars to commute by bicycle. It'd be interesting to explore whether there's more permanent things than just events that we can promote Active Comox Valley, joining forces with people who are trying to improve infrastructure on the active transportation. So it's great. It's the first time I hear about it, so I'm really happy to hear about it. Thank you.
And Director Hamir?
Thank you. So if I could just get a little bit more information about the community table that works with, I guess, is it an advisory group? And who sits on that table?
Through the chair. So here's one of the struggles that we're having, and this is where it leads again into one of our strategic goals of volunteer engagement.
Yeah.
In the past, there was a member from the CRA Association. There was a member a citizen from the town of Comox, and somebody within the CBRD. So there was 3 or 4 community members that just really enjoy and are passionate and enjoy physical activity. They tended to be school teachers, phys ed teachers, real estate agents, looking for ways to, and within the past 2 or 3 years, that committee is faded, and we're having a very difficult time getting that volunteer engagement.
Okay.
So it's been more of a staff-focused.
Right. I mean, I guess it's surprising to me as like a fairly newcomer to the valley. I find this an extremely active valley, and there just seems to be groups everywhere. So, I think I echo Chair Kettler's comment or suggestion about new partnerships. I know just off the top of my head, like there is a newcomers group that has, regular walking groups that walk throughout the valley. It would be great to provide some of these services, but as you said, without a huge extra cost to the service and to the RD. So partnering with already existing groups would be fantastic. And, I think they would appreciate, and I think this was echoed in some of our strategic planning, having the resources of the RD to congregate in, but then to go out into the community. So having that umbrella of the RD does give a bit of adds a bit of legitimacy to the group. But yeah, if we could reach out to some of these other groups, I'm thinking also the bicycle, there's the Cycling Coalition. There are a number of groups already with strong leadership, strong volunteerism already, that if we partnered with, I think could give us like an amazing array of programming that we don't have to pay for.
Yes. Thank you.
Alternate Director Theos.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I was just going to ask in regards to actually, oh, bless you. Following up on the comments of Arzina, in regards to communication with the groups that could really tie into it. Just in general, of course, the program was on for many years, and maybe new generations weren't aware of the program as much as they were not maybe when Daniel was growing up, but when I was even growing up. But what is the new communications efforts that are being made, just in general, of trying to get the message out about the program?
Through the chair, so the Active Comox Valley does have its own website. We just linked onto the regional district website. We have a dedicated phone line to help with any questions or anything. We do reach out through social media, through newspaper, radio ads, any way that we can. We go in through the schools. That's been a big one for us, is to get that word out through the schools. And throughout the various municipalities, they help share the information as well.
Just thinking the schools is a great tie-in, maybe like a sports day and active day at the schools and something like that. But it sounds like you've got it all covered. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Alternate Director McCullum.
Thank you, Chair. I also wanted to pick up on the thread of partnering with community groups. I'm not sure if you're aware, but North Island College there's a volunteer organization within it called Elder College.
Yes.
And it's a very active group of volunteers, and their most popular offering is their scenic walks. They usually have 4 or 5 sections. I think they fill up with 20 people per section. Wow. And those members are paying, I think, $40 per section to participate in that. And they're just basically addressing a desire within that 55 plus community to get familiar with various scenic walks in the Comox Valley. And I believe a lot of those walks are actually taking place in CVRD Park. So that seems like an obvious partnership to me.
Thank you.
And Director Frisch.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up. I was wondering if there are plans to sort of revisit this program with the board or with the Sports Commission, or are you guys just sort of, are you looking for a lot input? I don't know if you're looking for it now or if you're looking for it later, or...
Through the chair, any input is always amazing input. The goal for today was to bring forth that, we're looking to figure out how to rebuild the STEAM and what is that going to look like. So certainly any input suggestions, been amazing, yes.
So how much do we spend on the program in a year?
Currently it's between 25 and 26,000.
So not very much.
No.
I'll leave it at that, and I'll think about things I can come up with for 25 grand. How's that?
Thank you.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Good.
Carry on, please. Thank you.
Carrying on, our next update was with the recreation review. So in 2018, we brought in a contractor that did a review on our recreation services and on our staffing structure and on our processes to see what we could do to tighten things up in recreation and to move forward with our budgeting in a more positive and supportive way, and more accountability for staff, and just in general moving recreation forwards. So some of the things that we have recently been able to get on top of what have been, so the management structure has changed. In the past, you would look after both pool facilities, as an example. Your position in the maintenance was to look after the sports center and the aquatic center, and then you had the exhibition grounds on the side as well. And you'd have two managers or 2 staff trying to sort out all the issues, and it was really difficult to be able to nail down accountability and to get customer service and to fix things in both internal and external customer service. So with the restructuring of the staff, where you have a manager of operations dedicated to the sports center, which is 2 sheets of ice and a pool, and they also help look after things at the track and at the all-weather field if there's any immediate issues, not necessarily fixing things, but if there's an immediate concern about the lighting or anything like that. That manager is responsible to help with that. The other manager is responsible for looking after the aquatic center and the exhibition grounds, which fit very hand in hand with the seasons. So if a customer has a concern about, hey, this is dirty, or this is broken, or would like to have a different color paint on the wall at the aquatic center, you're going to go to this manager of operations, and they're going to look after your concerns. The ice is too soft, or the ice is too hard, or the showers are too cold, you're going to come to this manager of operations, so we're not a juggling act trying to figure out solve the problems. It's one person, they can be held accountable, we can follow up and find out, make sure things are being done. And the same at the programming end, you're either programming up at the aquatic center or you're programming at the sports center. So if we don't have enough resources for a special event down at the sports center, it's this programmer that we go talk to, or if we have an idea, it's this programmer. It provides staff a direct line. Okay, I'm working in this building. These are the managers for these specific areas. I'm working in this building. It's these managers. For the customers, the same thing. Okay, this shower keeps dripping here in this arena, or the tiles are really dirty at this pool. It's this manager of operations. And we've recently made this change within the early fall. We are starting to notice some quicker results with getting things fixed and getting things cleaned and changed. It also provides a higher accountability when it comes to strategic thinking and budgeting. Budget accordingly for your building. You've got a building that was built in 1974. We have a life cycle report here now. We need to make sure that we're budgeting properly to keep this building moving forwards. And what are we doing with this building in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road? Same with the aquatic center. And that budgeting falls all the way through with programming. What does the programming look like today? What's it going to look like in 5 years? What is it going to cost for resources? And the same with customer service. So having more commitment to your own location, more dedication. I think along with that comes more pride, better service. So that was one of the big changes. With that comes a lot more training for staff, higher education plans for the managers, and of course for the staff, in trying to make sure that we can give them a good training plan. This season we did try a 1-week pool closure, both pool facilities closure, so that we could get all the staff together and spend a week together and go through WMIS, go through biohazards, customer service, crisis management, all those things and those tools that is really difficult for us to give during the regular season, because you're working 40 hours, you're working triple splits, you're working through the night, I'm working through the day. How do we pull you together? So we gave this try of a 5-day training week. The successes were the emergency procedure training and practice, the customer service standards, respect in the workplace and handling difficult situations, and understanding recreation and the CVRD strategic goals and direction setting. It's really important that every single staff member understands that direction. If they don't understand it, we don't have their buy-in. When you have a customer that's frustrated about something and a staff member doesn't understand the direction of the rec centers and the CVRD, the answer that may come out might not be the most supportive at times, and now you're dealing with another situation. So making sure that everybody really understands what the CVRD is about, what our services are, how budgeting works, how to deal with the customers, providing staff the tools for the angry customer, for the upset customer, for the happy customer is very important. The challenges associated with trying to run a training like that, for over 5 days is, for the customers. Okay, now you've closed down both of our CVRD pools. Going outside is not an option. Maybe we have something medically that stops us from being able to utilize external temperatures outside areas. Hey, we bought a pass. You have your normal shutdowns. Now you've added this week for staff training. So those are some of the things that we have to sort of work through. And during that time, now there's no customer service representative that we can call to find out your pool hours, because they're all in training. So taking all that into account, and looking at how we can make sure we provide proper training for our staff, which is a benefit to our patrons, without taking away so much pool time. So we're looking for what is that happy medium. Next summer it may be 2 days, maybe it's 2 Fridays in a row, so you still have your Monday to Thursdays. and then maybe it's the Friday that we may be closed. We'll try to sort of incorporate that into the various closures that normally we would close on Saturday. Maybe we do the first closure on Friday, and then when the other facility closes, add that, take one day back, just to make sure that we provide for those that are paying for our services.
There is a question.
Oh, yes.
Director Hamir?
Thank you. So yeah, I just wanted to echo some of your, what you're saying. It sounds like you're getting some really good successes with now having more of a team approach to each facility, and that sounds like a really good way to go forward. Regarding the summer closures and the staff training together, I'm wondering if hearing what I did from the public during those closures, I got a lot of emails and complaints. Not so much around the loss of the value of their pass, but like you said, more of like, we don't have anywhere to go. Like, there are some swimmers who are training for seniors games, all of that kind of thing. They were more just upset about the lack of any pool facility anywhere during the summer months. And if we are now looking at training like staff or per facility, then it might make sense not to pool people together. If you're trying to do some team building per facility, then that might be a little bit more helpful. So if we can minimize having both facilities closed at the same time, I would really encourage it.
Certainly, that's certainly our plan for 2020 moving forward. It was a pilot project. Thank you. Also moving forwards, we also were working on our IT, a 5-year IT plan. So our facilities, particularly the sports center, is a little bit behind the times when it comes to technology. And one of the difficulties that we do run up against is it's a cinder block building. So your cell phone may not necessarily work in all the various locations. Trying to get on Wi-Fi for minor hockey to be able to report out what the score is, because they've gone all electronical, may have been a bit of a challenge. So other areas that we've been working on in the IT are things like online registration, which started in August, and I'm going to knock on wood here when I say we feel we've had some very good success there. We have about 30% of our patrons and customers have registered swimming lessons through the online program, and have had some really happy moments to be able to do it in the morning with their coffee or in the evening after dinner and not have to come in and stand in a lineup. So that's been a real positive. We are working towards improving the Wi-Fi and the internet services to the facilities. So we have been able to make the first step forward, which ensures that our safety alarms work. That was one of our biggest scenarios where, for the staff, the cell phone where we receive, hey, you have an alarm here, a low oil leak or any other kind of a scenario, it comes through our phones as our first alarm, and then the alarming sets off for the building if it remains high. So when we're at home or when we're out of the building, we can recognize there's a situation before it comes to breach, and for the staff that are working, they can realize before the alarm goes off as well. So we've been improving, staff have been working towards improving the Wi-Fi for that. So we're now in a situation where our alarming system works very well with the Wi-Fi level that we have. However, we're working very hard with TELUS to improve that Wi-Fi level further so that our users can actually log in. There's figure skating, there's lacrosse, there's minor hockey, there's the Glacier Kings, there's the swim clubs. They need to be able to access Wi-Fi consistently. They can't constantly be kicked off of it because they've moved in the building. So that's our next step to improve that service for our patrons. And
We have another question.
Yes.
Director Arbour?
Yeah, that's just a quick comment. I mean, a handful of constituents were so thrilled with the online registration and told me, and I was not really necessarily seeking input. So when a handful of people mentioned that, it means there's a lot of happy people out there, I think, with the new online registration. So I just like to thank staff for their work on that.
thank you. I will pass that along. Thank you. So those are the things that we have been working on the rec review portion. And the last one I would like to talk about is the outdoor court study. So again, this does cover 2 of our strategic goals in partnerships and connectivity. We've recently put out for bid a regional outdoor court study. And this will be a document that looks at the long-term future of the region in context with the changing of the environment, demographics, emerging priorities, and needs for outdoor courts. We're at the point where our consultant has been hired, and public engagement will be underway this coming fall here, so shortly. The consultant will present the draft to the Comox Valley Sports Commission at a later date. So next week, the consultant will be coming up, and we'll be starting the process of going through the various outdoor court inventories of the various areas. On the leadership table with the membering municipalities, they've all provided input on what courts they do have and sort of what condition courts are in, new courts, older courts. And moving forwards from there, the consultant will work with the membering municipalities, the school district, also the Pickleball Association, the Tennis Association, and a few other groups to kind of really get some input on, okay, have we met our needs? And moving forwards, what does that look like? Down the road. And outside of that, those were my 4 updates. And if there's any questions or anything, I would be very happy to
Okay,
answer.
Director Hamir.
Great. You didn't touch on it, but I just wanted to pass along comments that I received that people are pretty thrilled with the new equipment at the sports center. So big thanks to staff for purchasing new equipment.
Thank you. I will
It's
certainly pass that
appreciated.
along as well. Thank you.
And I don't see any further questions. Thank you very much for the update. There's a lot going on there.
Thank you.
So all in favor of receipt? And none opposed, so carried. And no new business.
Thank you.
No addendum, no media, no in camera, so we move to termination. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.